Kafka was a famous hypochondriac.
Speaking of cough.
A lot of people... Stop. A lot of people have been hypochondriacs in history, and a lot of philosophers. Immanuel Kant is one that famously was a hypochondriac. But Kafka was incredibly on that front. He became very obsessed with wellness and diet fads and exercise fads of his time to try to do that. And that's something I've struggled with my whole life and still do to this day, and feeds into my OCD a lot is hypochondria. Is this feeling of am I sick? I've convinced myself over the years I've had every fucking disease. And as I'm dealing with my obsessive compulsive disorder around body somatic fucking feelings and sensations, what happens when you're in recovery for this stuff is your body, and anybody that's had anxiety will understand this, it creates symptoms with no underlying physical cause. It's psychosomatic symptoms.
Right.
So, because I've had anxiety, there's a time in my life where I had numbness in my legs, which is just a product of anxiety. Anxiety can create and mimic almost any symptom. It's amazing. It can do headaches. It can do shortness of breath. It can do itching and hives. It can do gastrointestinal fucking problems. It can do numbness and tingling, lightheadedness. And then you strengthen that loop by, sort of obsessing about the symptoms, checking in on the symptoms, and then compulsively trying to get yourself away from those symptoms. So as you're healing or trying to recover, what happens, and I've heard this from a lot of people with OCD in particular and hypochondria, the symptoms increase and they start morphing. So it's this clicking in my ears when I swallow, as everybody knows. And as you make progress on that, what the body will do, what the mind will do, the health anxious mind, it's trying to protect you, but in this really infantile and hysterical way. So it's okay, they're becoming less scared of this thing. What about this thing? And generates different sensations. So I've had, and it increases as you're sort of making progress, which fucking sucks, because then these symptoms go all over your body. And what you have to do, you have to stop being tricked into the idea that this is a serious problem. You have to stop letting your brain convince you that this is a problem that needs to be solved, that this is a real serious issue. You need to get help or you could die, right? You have to stop playing that game, and you have to fully accept the symptoms. So I don't care. The symptoms are here. Write it out. But I have these weird symptoms. So I have stomach pain and gastrointestinal issues that come. That I literally just feel pain morphing and moving around my abdomen. I went to the doctor for it. I did a urine test. I did a blood test. A physical exam. And the doctor says she's pretty sure it's just an abdominal strain, if even that. She couldn't really find anything. And none of the tests came back with anything. So I'm like, God damn it. But I still have this feeling. And then the going to the doctor's office to get it checked out is kind of the compulsion. Yeah. You're trying to solve a problem. And people in this world can go to the doctors over and over and over again. I don't have health insurance, so I don't have that ability. But it also moves around. So now I have pressure in my undercarriage. In my groin and balls area.
Really?
I'll just have this weird, never felt before pressure. And I always know it's OCD or health anxiety and hypochondria when I try to explain the symptoms and they're so fucking vague and they're so ephemeral that
right.
A doctor would be like, what is exactly going on? And you Google it and you can't really find an answer. Googling itself is a compulsion.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it morphs around. I got tingling. I went to sleep in the middle of the night. I woke up, my whole arm was completely asleep because I've been sleeping on it.
Oh yeah.
And then usually you shake it and your hand wakes up. I was shaking it and it wasn't waking up. It took 20 seconds longer than normal.
Okay.
And I started feeling anxiety rise within me. Oh God, I cut off some nerve. I have nerve. My mind immediately goes to this is a catastrophic fucking health injury.
Right.
And then I have to recognize it. That's what my mind does. I have to sit with the anxiety and the fear. I have to not engage in the compulsions or the ruminations or the Googling. And I just have to say, it's okay that this symptom is here. It's okay that this symptom is here. But it moves around and it becomes fucking everything. I had lightheadedness for a week and a half, just 2 weeks ago, where I just throughout the day it's lightheaded. Is it ever dizzy to the point where I fall? No. Do I ever black out? Absolutely not. Faint? No. So again, it's just this very vague thing that impacts my quality of life. It fucking sucks. I'm constantly having these symptoms, but I know it's just my mind trying to protect me by trying to find, you know, things that are wrong in my body that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And so it's like a psychological war with yourself, or a non-war. You're trying to stop fighting that war. But it moves all around my body all the fucking time. And it gets incredibly fucking exhausting and shitty and tiring. I'm sure people out there have health anxiety or hypochondria can relate to that. But I think that's part of why I'm interested in like going back in these historical figures that lived lives and, you know, achieved something or expressed themselves creatively or self-actualized in spite of their mental health issues. Yeah. There's something about that that's edifying for me and reassuring to me. And I think that's part of the attraction to that. But you have some health issues currently, and I don't think they're hypochondria related.
No.
It's also aging, right? As you age, you're fucking constantly having something going wrong.
Dude,